In this video, I'll be reviewing Stardew Valley for the Nintendo Switch. Now, Stardew Valley is an indie game that costs $15 and it's pretty much on every platform known to man. It's on PS4, Xbox One, PC, Switch, and even the old PS Vita. That's right, it came out on PS Vita I think May 22nd, so it recently dropped on the PS Vita. So if you still have a PS Vita laying around, you can actually play it on the PS Vita portably. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Stardew Valley pretty much is a successor to the old Harvest Moon games. So if you played Harvest Moon, then you'll feel right at home playing Stardew Valley. Another great example of games that are very similar to Stardew Valley are going to be The Sims and Animal Crossing. If you play The Sims and Animal Crossing, I think Stardew Valley will appeal to you too. It is kind of like a life simulator and things like that. Now, when you first start the game, the whole principle behind Stardew Valley is the fact that your grandfather gives you a farm, and the meat and potatoes of this game, no pun intended, but the meat and potatoes of this game is going to be farming. So you're going to be farming a lot in this game, but don't get twisted. There is other stuff to do in this game besides farming, but farming is the majority of what you're going to be doing in Stardew Valley. Besides farming, you got the mines, so you can go mining, and mining plays a big role in this game, so you're going to spend a lot of the times in the mines. And then besides that, you can also go fishing. They also got quests you can do in Stardew Valley. A lot of the villagers will give you quests, and you can complete these quests for villagers. And then also every season there is going to be events that are held throughout the town, so you can do these events with other people and do stuff like that. And then another big part of this game is going to be actually completing the community center. You get these things called bundles in the community center, and these bundles are pretty much things that you have to complete to open up more of the Stardew Valley game, because Stardew Valley, not the whole town is available to you right away, and some stuff are locked out to you. So you do these things called bundles in the community center. And for instance, a bundle may say like, get these 4 different vegetables and then bring them back to the community center and complete this bundle, and then you'll pretty much be able to unlock a certain part of the town, or you'll get a certain reward. And that's a lot of the time spent doing the community center and doing all the bundles in the community center. Overall, I like the whole aspect of this game. I think this game is a very relaxing game. If you like relaxing games, then you're definitely gonna like Stardew Valley. Now, I must admit, Stardew Valley is not for everybody. I think Stardew Valley is specifically meant for a specific demographic. I know not everybody can get into Stardew Valley. There's no action, there's nothing going on. It's a very chill, relaxing game. When you first boot this game up, you really know how relaxing Stardew Valley is, just because Stardew Valley's music's very calm and very relaxing, and almost everything you do in the game is very, very relaxing. Overall, I really do like my experience with Stardew Valley. I can see on the internet how people have put in over hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours in Stardew Valley. There is quite a lot to do in Stardew Valley. Technically, the game never ends, just because once your I think grandfather comes back to check on your farm in about 2 or 3 years, which in-game time is probably about 30 or 40 hours possibly. After he comes back, then the game still continues. So technically, Stardew Valley never really ends. There are some gripes I have about Stardew Valley, especially if you're a new player to Stardew Valley. One problem with Stardew Valley, so I found early in the game, which kind of bothered me. It doesn't bother me now because I figured out how to work around it, is the fact that when you're actually in-game, in-game days don't last forever. And also, you got to be careful because your character in Stardew Valley has a bar on the right-hand side, and that bar pretty much means how long you can be out and how long your days last. Because if that bar goes down to empty, then you pretty much take a penalty, and then you have to you actually get a hospital bill, and then you lose a lot of your stamina, and then you also get a hospital bill. And the fact that each day in Stardew Valley only lasts from 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. in the morning. If you're out past, if you stay up until 2 a.m. in the morning, then you do get a penalty as well. And those things bothered me at first because I didn't really know how to manage my time in Stardew Valley. But once you play farther, you learn what to do. Like, for instance, one day when I wake up, I know today's going to be a farming day, or today's going to be a mission day where I'm going to try to do some side quests for the villagers, or I'm going to do some community bundles, or I'm going to go fishing. So you kind of plan your day around the whole running out of energy, and also the days only lasting until 2 a.m. I figured out how to work around that. And also, once you get farther in the game, you can get more stamina. So it's not like stamina is really a big problem. At first, like I said, I didn't like that whole principle of the fact that weren't endless, and the fact that you could run out of energy. But now I actually like that whole aspect of it. I think it's one of the best aspects in Stardew Valley. I love the fact you have to plan each day accordingly, and you have to make sure you have enough energy, and you have to do stuff around working around your limitations as a person. It's kind of like real life, you know. As you keep going in the day, you get tired, and then you have to eventually at nighttime take a sleep. I think that's actually a brilliant idea. They could have made this game where those things weren't taken into account, but I love the fact those are taken into account in Stardew Valley, and that's pretty much the core gameplay of it. Again, you're going around farming most of the time. You're either going to the mines, or you're fishing, or you're doing side quests for the villagers, or you're actually doing the community bundles in the community center. And there's some other stuff you can do in the game. I'm not that far in the game right now. I'm probably only putting about 20 to 25 hours into the game, and I've had this game for a couple of weeks now, but overall I am enjoying my experience with Stardew Valley. It might actually be better than the Harvest Moons of the past. I love everything about this game. I also love the fact that in Stardew Valley the graphics of this game are retro, and I think it fits the game very well. If you look at some of the earlier or the recent, if you look at some of the recent Harvest Moon games, they don't look all that appealing in my opinion. I know it depends whether you like it or not, but in my opinion, I don't really like the graphical styles of some of the new Harvest Moon games. I just think the 3D aesthetic of the newer ones just don't fit. I love how Stardew Valley went with the whole retro look of the game in terms of the graphics. This game actually kind of reminds me of a Super Nintendo game. This game could probably easily pass as a Super Nintendo game. The gameplay is really satisfying to do. Also, the graphics are really nice. The music's really nice. It's just overall a very satisfying experience. One thing I can say about this game, even though people put hundreds and hundreds of hours into this game, I can say this is one game that I can see myself getting bored of, or I can see a lot of people who buy this game may end up getting bored of, because you're pretty much doing the same thing all the time, and I can see this game being boring. That's one thing I have a problem with Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley seems like the repetition may set in sooner than later when it comes to Stardew Valley, but that's just the nature of the game, unfortunately. I think this game is best played in little bite-sized sessions where you can play this game for about maybe 5 to 10 minutes, 15 minutes, set the game back, come back in like 5 or 6 hours, or come back the next day and play this game. And also, I highly recommend picking up on Switch, just because this game is a perfect pick up and play game. There's no better pick up and play game. This is one of the best games made for the Nintendo Switch. Although it's not made for the Nintendo Switch, I think it's best played on the Nintendo Switch, if that makes sense. So I would highly recommend getting it on Switch. If you have the option of the Vita version and you more so take your Switch around with you, if you still have a Vita, I would definitely recommend getting it on Vita over the Nintendo Switch version, for one reason. The PS Vita is much more portable than the Nintendo Switch. But if you care about that hybrid aspect where you're playing Stardew Valley on a TV and then you're playing Stardew Valley in your pocket or on the go, then I would definitely suggest the best version is still the Nintendo Switch version. And the fact, if you didn't know this, Stardew Valley already technically has an update out for the game that's coming to the Nintendo Switch version, and I think the PS4 and the Xbox One versions. I'm talking about multiplayer. There's multiplayer already out on the PC. If you have the PC version of the game, it's going to allow you to play up to 4 people in the same exact Stardew Valley save file, so you can play the whole entire game with up to 4 people, which is very, very nice. And also, I did forget to mention, of course, on PC there is mods for this game, but I still think the portability of the Switch makes up for the mods, because you can take this on the go, and this is the best pick up and play game you can possibly pick up on the Nintendo Switch, and that's why I love this on the Nintendo Switch. I love the fact that I'm playing this on the TV, and then when it's time to go, I'm taking this off the TV and playing the whole Stardew Valley game on the go. Overall, a very solid game for people who like life simulators like Harvest Moon. Obviously, it takes inspiration from Animal Crossing, The Sims, games like those. This is a perfect relaxing game if you don't want to play anything that's too crazy or anything out there. Or maybe you're a casual gamer and you don't really play mini games too often. I think some people can get into I think some people can get into Stardew Valley just because Stardew Valley is a relaxing game and it's not really too complicated. One other aspect I did forget to mention before I head out as well, besides doing all the stuff you can already do, there's a big emphasis on crafting in this game. There's a lot you can do in crafting. And another thing I did forget to mention too, you really feel like you've accomplish something in Stardew Valley, because you can level up your character in Stardew Valley when you do certain tasks. So, for instance, fishing, mining, farming, you get different levels, and as you level up your character in Stardew Valley with different levels of like farming, mining, and fishing, you actually get new crafting recipes and things like that. So there's a really great feeling of accomplishment in Stardew Valley. If you're a person that wants to feel like they've accomplished something in a video game, Stardew Valley is definitely the game for you, because you do feel like you've accomplished stuff in the game, especially with the whole leveling up in the crafting area, leveling up different areas of your skills, and also completing the community bundle. There's just a sense of accomplishment in Stardew Valley. Overall, definitely highly recommend Stardew Valley. Anyway, guys, this is Wayne from My Tech News, signing out.